So you spent the last 30 years climbing the corporate ladder. You have the title, you have the team, and you have the budget. But you also have the burnout, the endless alignment meetings, and the realization that you're just building someone else's dream. You want out. But leaving the corporate world isn't just about handing in your resignation. It's actually about completely rewiring your brain. First, we're going to talk about the headcount trap, why you've been conditioned to believe that managing more people equals more success, and why that's completely false in the fractional world. Then I'll break down this shift from climbing the corporate ladder to owning the ladder, and how to stop asking for permission to lead. We also need to talk about the concept of high margin impact, how to strip away the corporate bloat and focus purely on the strategic work that actually moves the needle. And finally, I'll show you how to redefine success so you can leave the corporate world without feeling like you're stepping backwards. Let's get into it. You know the drill. For 3 decades, you've been told that success looks like a bigger office, a bigger team, and a more inflated budget. The corporate world conditions you to measure your worth by the size of your empire. So when you ask, how do I leave the corporate world? The answer isn't just a tactical checklist. The answer is a massive psychological shift. If you leave corporate but keep the corporate mindset, you will fail as a fractional executive. You will try to build a massive agency, hire a bunch of junior staff, and recreate the exact same bloated bureaucracy you just escaped from. To successfully leave the corporate world, you have to unlearn everything that made you successful inside of it. You have to stop measuring your worth by headcount and start measuring it by autonomy, impact, and margin. Let's break down exactly what it takes to make that mindset shift. The first thing you have to unlearn is the headcount trap. In corporate, your power is directly tied to how many people report to you. If you manage 50 people, you are important. If you manage 500 people, maybe you're a VP. When executives leave and start their own fractional practice, the first instinct they have is hire a team. They think, I just can't be a team of one. I need analysts. I need project managers. I need an assistant. This is a massive mistake. When you hire a team, you immediately compress your margins and you become a manager again. You spend your day reviewing other people's work instead of doing the high-level strategic work and the strategic thinking that clients are actually paying you for. As a fractional executive, your goal is to not build an empire. Your goal is to build a highly profitable, high-margin practice of one. You are the product. Your 30 years of rich, deep experience is what the CEO is buying. They don't want your junior analyst. They want your brain. You have to get comfortable being a team of one. The second shift is moving from climbing the corporate ladder to owning the ladder. In the corporate world, you're always waiting for permission. You wait for the promotion. You wait for the budget approval. You wait for the board to sign off on your strategy. You're highly paid, but you're still an employee. When you leave the corporate world, there's no ladder left to climb. You are the CEO of your own career. This means you have to stop asking for permission and start dictating the terms. When you walk into a room with a founder, you don't ask them what they want you to do. You tell them what needs to be done. You bring your fractional operating system. You diagnose their problem, and then you prescribe the solution. You're no longer an employee trying to please a boss. You're a peer advising a client. That shift in posture changes everything about how you're perceived, but more importantly, how much you can charge. The third thing you have to embrace is the concept of high margin impact. In corporate, you spend 80% of your time on low impact work, navigating politics, sitting in alignment meetings, and managing HR disputes. Only 20% of your time is actually spent on strategy. When you leave the corporate world, you get to flip that ratio. As a fractional executive, you strip away all that corporate bloat. You don't have to do politics. You don't have to do performance reviews. You drop in for 1 to 2 days a week for pure, concentrated strategic value, and then you leave. This is what I call high margin impact. You're delivering the exact same value to the company, but it takes a fraction of the time because there's no friction. You have to realize that your value is not tied to sitting at your desk for 40 hours a week. Your value is tied to the outcome you deliver. The final step in leaving the corporate world is redefining what success actually looks like for the next phase of your life. If you measure success by corporate standards, you'll always feel like you're falling behind. You won't have the massive title or necessarily the corner office. But if you measure success by fractional standards, you're going to realize you've won the game. Success is having total control over your calendar. Success is choosing which CEOs you want to work with and firing the ones that are toxic. Success is making $300,000 a year working 3 days a week and spending the other 2 days with your family or maybe even on the golf course. You've already proven you can survive the corporate grind. You have 30 years of deep experience to show for it. Now is the time for you to cash in on that experience on your own terms. So when we talk about how to leave the corporate world, we're talking about a fundamental rewiring of your brain. It means escaping the headcount trap and realizing that a high margin practice of one is infinitely better than a bloated agency. It means shifting from climbing the corporate ladder to owning your own ladder and then acting as a peer rather than an employee. It means focusing purely on high margin impact work and stripping away the politics and all the bureaucracy. But it also means redefining success so that autonomy and control are your primary metrics. When you make this mindset shift, leaving the corporate world isn't a step back. It's the ultimate promotion. But here's the catch. To make this mind shift a reality, you actually have to know how to find the clients who will pay you for your expertise. You can't just sit around waiting for founders to knock on your door. You need a system to attract them. If you want to see how to turn this fractional model into a predictable pipeline of high-quality startup clients, go watch this video next. The system behind the predictable pipeline for fractional executives. In that video, you'll see how to build a cohesive system that brings the right founders to you, even when you're busy delivering client work. Go watch that video next.